All right, hey guys. This is the team call for March 4th, 2016. I just wanted to do a mini leadership series. It's actually something that we just got done doing at church, and I thought it was so awesome that it really pertained to what we do. And I know Denise had a leadership conference that she went to, and I haven't looked at those notes, but I thought maybe in the next couple weeks that we could focus on some tidbits from that and kind of incorporate it in and talk about it and discuss it and that sort of thing. So I just have a few notes that I want to go over and a few points on today's topic. Hey, as Stacy came on. And then you guys can ask questions at the end if you have like any specific business questions, or you want to ask about, something, how this might pertain to you, or, whatever. But so, with this leadership series, I just want to start off by saying that we are all leaders. You are a leader. You have the power to influence. You're going to influence people anyway, whether it's good or bad. And you have that power on where you want to take them. So, I like to say, think and be bigger than where you are right now. If you have a vision, if you have that place in your mind where you want to go, start influencing those people to go with you. And before you can lead, you have to serve. And I love that point, because that is kind of what we do as coaches, is we serve people in so many different ways other than just health and fitness, and you get what you give. Right? I mean, that's kind of like a big theory in life, is whatever you give to people is what you will get in return. So you have to serve people first. And there's really 4 key principles that I think fit into this really, really well. And the first one is, I must know who I am. You got to know your strengths and weaknesses. I always say, don't let others define you, and leaders don't look to others to get validation or to get that satisfaction that you're doing the right thing. And in the realm of this business, this actually, it comes with friends and family too, which is really, really hard, because if it's in your heart, I feel, not to make it super religious, but I feel like God has put you on this path for a reason. And he's given you this purpose and this awesome platform to be able to serve others, and in turn help yourself and help your family as well. So, true leaders do not look to others for satisfaction, especially when you're first starting this business. I know a lot of us get some flack from friends and family saying, it's just, a scam, or, it's not really going to change your life. It's not really going to be beneficial for you and your family. And I cannot tell you that is not further from the truth if it's in your heart to, really make a difference. And if you really think about it, God's expectations are the only ones that matter. That's something that me and my husband actually talked about a lot, because I've always felt that my husband holds really, really high expectations for me, and I could never meet them. I'm really driven. I have great work ethic. I'm self-motivated. I'm a go-getter, but he trumps me on so many things that I never felt like I was living up to his expectations. And I always felt like I was kind of failing. But if you look at it in perspective, as long as you're following your heart and you're doing what you feel like you're set out to do, God's expectations are the only ones that matter. And there's so many traps that we can fall into. And I wrote down 3 that I feel like are really important. Number 1 is allowing people to manipulate you with their expectations. And they're going to mold you into what they think that you should be. If you don't decide for yourself, others are going to decide for you. That's just the fact. And I've read that in so many different books, personal development books that I've read recently. If you're not going to decide the path that you're going to go on and, push through, the tough spots, others are going to decide those expectations for you and the path that you should be on related to what they think that, you should be doing. So you have to decide for yourself. Number two is leading a phony life. So, don't always pretend to be something, or don't always pretend to lead a different life. Be transparent. And that's a really, really great thing about, social media and what we do is because you can be completely transparent in your story, and what someone might relate to as far as, what I'm doing and my story might be completely different. From what somebody might relate to what you're doing. So, tell your story and be truthful in that journey. Number three is stress. I personally believe that you don't have to fake it till you make it. I think you need to be that self-motivating person to keep going. But as long as you're true to your purpose, I think, again, you're going to push through those tough times, and it's going to reduce that stress. It's going to give you that validation to just keep going. What really, really prohibits leadership is copying and comparing. And I've learned that the hard way. Someone will always do a better job than you. Someone will always do a worse job than you. That's just the facts. And you can't compare someone else's story and someone else's journey to yours, because we all start somewhere. And this almost causes you to bench yourself in a sense, because you're allowing yourself to be convinced that you're not good enough, or that you don't deserve to do this, or you don't deserve, that kind of life. But again, if you think back to your mission and you think back to your purpose, it's all going to fit into place, and you're going to be able to push through those things and not compare yourself. If you kind of put those blinders on and you just tell your story, you're going to attract the right people to you and to what your mission is. The second key principle as far as leadership goes is you must know what you want to accomplish. And this is a really big one. Without a plan, just like with health and fitness, it's just a wish, right? If you don't put some structure around what you want to accomplish and what your goals are, they're just wishes, they're just thoughts. So the direction of your life right now is your choice. And, we're not a victim in anything. We have the power to take this opportunity and change our life. It's been done. It's all about duplication. It's about putting yourself out there and then just, continuing on when people, might say something, or, you don't feel validated. As long as you feel validated in your heart, things are going to start happening. And again, I've learned that just through experience. There's, just for a quick example, one of my husband's best friends, who I get along with pretty well, he always is calling my husband and says, "What is your wife doing all day?" She's talking about this, or she's, talking about the dream house that she wants to build for you guys. And it's just like, whatever, man, like whatever, if you want to take the time to, worry about what I'm doing instead of what maybe you should be doing, I can't let that affect me personally, because I know that it's not coming from the right place, and I feel validated in what I'm doing, and I feel like I'm making a difference, not only for my family, but for your families as well, and as we work together. So again, you can't be knocked down by somebody else's thoughts and things like that. So, don't play the victim, and don't, assume that you can't do this, because everyone is a leader. Everyone can do this business. And again, you have to have a mission. You have to have a plan. You have to have some structure around where you want to go and what you want to accomplish. Or again, it's just kind of like an up in the air, well, maybe I'll accomplish it, maybe I won't type of thing. And what's important will last forever. It's not about what's urgent. So I feel like this is relatable to so many new coaches, because you're excited, you want super quick success, you feel like you're gonna have really quick success. And it's just like our society's mentality. Like, we really want urgent, when we want something, we want something. And so I highly, just from experience again, you cannot stress yourself out on the urgent and what you want to happen. You can go after those, goals as quickly as you possibly, want to push and what you are able to do. But what's important is going to last forever. And you know, again, that's that big picture. And if you think bigger than what you are right now, and that this is not, then you kind of think of it as it's not your final mission and you have to keep going. You know, again, it kind of goes back to being strategic and purposeful, because your motives are clear and concise, and you know, you're able to break down those goals to accomplish in pieces. The third key principle is motivation. I can't motivate you. You know, your friend can't motivate you to a certain extent. It has to come from within in a lot of different aspects. Leaders are, or leadership is kind of the art of disappointment. I love that quote, because you have to have a tough skin, but a big and tender heart. It's just kind of the nature of being a leader and leading other people. And you have to stay focused on your mission and your purpose throughout all of that hardship. You know, motivation, again, it comes from within, and it comes from the people that you surround yourself with, because success loves speed, and it loves that companionship when you're able to accomplish things together. And the fourth one is collaboration. You know, you have to have people in your life that you are walking with. And that's why I stress so much that if you want this business to work, you not only have to communicate with me and other leaders on our team, but it really helps to have those tight bonds so that you can go with us. And when that happens, you know, all of us achieve success in so many different ways and almost quicker, because we've collaborated with each other and we're holding each other accountable, and we're sharing ideas and all that good stuff. So being a part of that collaboration and plugged in is going to help so much. And I have a few quick questions, you know, as you can kind of think about this and maybe your target market, or, you know, people that will eventually be on your team, is who's following you. When you're putting out your message, who are your followers? Who are you speaking to? You know, who's with you on this journey? I know Brandy's in the military, and Stacy's, you know, a part of a military family. You know, who's with you? Is it military people? Is it people that, you know, for me, might have been struggling with hypothyroidism? It just kind of depends, like, who's with you? Who's your tribe? Who's like your like tight-knit friends that you want to walk with? And who are you living life with? Because eventually this business is going to be people that you walk with forever. And that's so cool that you get to handpick the people that you walk with and you become friends with and you achieve success with. That is just so freaking awesome. So, you know, that's kind of all I have as far as leadership goes, and what my thoughts are as far as, you know, just taking the like key points in you know, basic leadership values and applying them to what we do as coaches. So I don't know if you guys have any questions on, you know, what I said, or how it might pertain to something that maybe you're working on, or thoughts that you have about where you want to go. I'll try and help you with that. Or if you have any other like specific business questions that I can help you with, this is your time to ask me so that I can help you. So I don't know, there's not very many people on, but I'm more than happy to help.
Well, I'll just chime in here. I think that was really good notes that you just went over. And actually today in this little binder, you know, that you sent me, I kind of, you know, wrote down the promotions, and I wrote down a page for leads of who I think, like you were saying, you know, who's following you. Mm-hmm. And so I think for this month, I'm, you know, focusing more on the people that I'm connected to the most, you know, maybe some of the people from my job or friends and family that have contacted me, you know, since they've seen pictures of my journey. And then I'm also looking at the promotions and saying, well, who does that kind of incorporate. I love this hardcore. I think that that would definitely incorporate with, my Army family. So what I was kind of thinking is maybe, the first couple weeks focusing on the one, hammer and chisel that I know, or the 21 Day Fix, but maybe at the end of the month focusing on that promotion of the hardcore, and then reaching out to maybe the Army, family that I have. And so I don't know if that's kind of a good idea, or,
Yeah,
a good way to get started on.
I think that's great. I mean, just because 22 Corps or Hard Corps, is launching this month and it's a part of the promotion, I mean, it's going to be around. So, I mean, if that path sounds great, if you want to take that on and push towards that, I think that you can absolutely do that. But you don't want to overwhelm yourself to the point of it being, too much too soon. But I mean, since you do have a plan, I think that you can absolutely execute that by focusing, for the first couple of weeks of the month on people that you know and people that you've already started talking to and reaching out to, just continue with them. And then once that kind of, you get a breather from that, take the last couple of weeks of the month to start talking to your Army family about 22 Corps and kind of expanding your, war market a little bit there, and reconnecting and that sort of thing. I think it sounds really good.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And I know that y'all have a lot more direction. And yeah, you're right. I definitely don't want to take on too much. I know that I've been speaking with you and telling you that I want to make sure that I do have the time and dedication for everybody that I do. It's not just about signing them up. I want to be sure that I can take care of them. And that's why I wanted to start them after I finished my program.
Yeah.
To make sure that I, had time for them. So I was just, I thought that was pretty cool. I'm just taking a lot of notes and trying to kind of put the business all together, and how to be a good leader. So I think you made some really good points today.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's more like that I can discuss. Just diving into any sort of personal development, especially on leadership, is really, really helpful. I mean, John Maxwell's amazing for leadership, but just looking outside like your normal comfort zone as far as what you might read and what you might typically enjoy as far as that goes is really going to expand your growth. And reading books on leadership is not really like my cup of tea, so to speak. I like reading other like motivational type personal development. Leadership is so much more technical, as like a technical learning, but of course leadership is really, really important in this business. It makes people want to follow you, and it just allows you to be clear in your vision, which again, portraying that to others and creating that vision for other people on your team, and new coaches, that having a vision and setting the tone for that, to be able to use this platform to express their vision, express their story, is really the basis of it, and it's super important. So just being able to ignite that fire in other people, and believe in them before they believe in themselves. That's just a huge thing that I've learned. And you just got to keep being by their side, and running with the people that want to run, and just keep supporting the people who don't want to run, but they're still there. I mean, that's going to happen. And that's okay.
That's
because
what
you want to meet people like where they are, not where you want them to be, type of thing.
Yeah. I'm struggling.
Absolutely.
Are you? Go ahead.
Who's talking?
You. Go ahead.
Me? Okay. I'm struggling more with, like, I don't know, I've talked to you before, but with the people that say they're going to do a challenge and they want to get in it, and then they kind of back out of it because of the cost, I guess. And then I try to tell them, I was like, it's not more so about the cost, it's about you and what you want to do. But
yeah,
I get so many people saying, yeah, I'm going to do it, I want to do it, and then they don't. So
Yeah.
my struggle is like, do I keep talking to them about it, or do I move on, or do I say, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how I'm not one of those pushy people, but
Yeah.
they want to get better, and I see it all the time. They're complaining about their weight, or they're complaining that they're always tired, and just like different things. And it's like, I don't know, it's frustrating because I want to help them, and then I try to give them things that they can do, ways that they can lose weight without a challenge pack, but that's not really helping me, but
Right.
it's still helping them. And I tell them about, our groups and our 30-day, free challenge and stuff like that. And then whenever they have to, a lot of the people about that don't want to put their card on
Yeah, I know.
the website. And then I'm like, well, it's not going to charge you, and it's not going to stay on there as long as if you want to cancel at the end, it's not going to go put forth on your credit or any of that.
I think that, I mean, it's a fine line as to like where you want to walk with that. I think that, as whether you're trying to get somebody to, take the step with you as far as their fitness journey, or taking a step with you as far as like being a coach, like you don't want to like push them into anything, because it's not going to benefit anyone. Because if you push them into something, as a coach, they're not going to work the business. Like they're just going to be, it's not going to be something that's really in their heart to want to do. If you push them into something with health and fitness, they're going to get super frustrated because they weren't like ready to take that step, So I never want anyone to feel pressured and pushed into something. I think like with you, a lot of the people that you talk to are your warm market. So depending on your relationship with them, I think you can revert back to their goals and not push them. Like, don't be mean, obviously.
I'm not pushing. I'm not doing that. And just, they don't even want to do the free challenge whenever
Right. But
they
you have
put
to
me on there, and then they don't even want to put forth the effort to even do a squat or do whatever I have going on. And it's like,
well, I think that's where you become a little bit stronger and just say, hey, like, I'm not trying to like make you do anything that you don't want to do, but you told me that you wanted to lose 20 pounds because of this. You wanted to have more energy for your kids because of this. If you don't take any sort of step like in the right direction, when I've offered you like a ton of different like options, I don't know personally like what else I can do for you. Like I have the tools. It has worked for me. You've seen it work for me. It's changed so many things in my life that are positive. And, I'm not coming from a selling standpoint. I'm coming from a friend who's had a personal experience with this, whatever you're talking about, and it's worked for me. And the community that we have is just a huge bonus. And I've told people, like, if you're unable to like rationalize putting a credit card on a website that's just like any other free trial that you would sign up for, I mean, again, they're not ready, So my advice is, maybe you take like a month off of like talking to them and just stay like in contact with them, but have it be nothing about what you're doing, what like your fitness journey, like anything like that. Just engage with them. And then maybe like the following month or like month and a half, 2 months, you go back and say, hey, I know we've talked about this before. You weren't ready then, but I'm doing another group. Would you consider, or are you ready now? Like, is it something that you still want to do, type of thing? And as far as, moving on, I say yes. I think that we all have to always move on to a certain extent, because if you have, a group of people telling you, yeah, I'm going to do it, I can't wait, and then you don't like throughout that month, like continue to build your pipeline, when those people back out, you're screwed, because it happens to all of us. It happens to me. It happens to, $1 million earners. It's just the fact of life. So you have to keep that pipeline going so that when people start to trail off and say, no, I can't do it, I got flat tire, like life happens, that had to pay for that instead of the challenge pack or whatever. that you still have a good number of people that you're building relationships with and talking to. Because
I have another issue, like on that, what you were saying,
uh,
that they don't get it from me, but then they go off and they do Pilates or however you pronounce it, or
yeah,
life, and it's like, okay, so you didn't want to do what I was doing, but you're still buying the other stuff, which is totally different. You're just buying the format. You're not even getting a workout. You're having to
yeah.
go and do some other workout or whatever. So I'm just in itself, that one, and then the other topic I just said is like a big issue for me right now. Is that
Mhm.
because it's going round, like Herbalife is going really big in my hometown, and that's everybody that I talk to pretty much in my hometown.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think they're going to come back to you. I think that they're going to realize like what they're doing is not working. And then the more that you, again, stay consistent on your journey, the more you share that consistency, publicly, and just not worry about what they're doing, they're going to come back to you and they're going to say, you know what, I've seen your progress. Like, I'm ready, because they're going to start taking all those supplements and they're going to take all those shakes and stuff, and they're not going to work out. They're not going to lose weight. So they're going to get frustrated and they're going to be spending a lot of money. And actually Herbalife is a lot more money than Beachbody. So
it's like $200 or something like that. And that's not even for everything that they want you to take.
Right. So they're going to learn the hard way, unfortunately. And since you have a personal tie to them, it's extra frustrating. And I get that. Like, you see somebody that you want to help and that you actually are invested in and care about, and then it's almost like they stab you in the back and they do something else when you've tried to help them. But you can't take it personally. Like, you just have to say, you know what? It is what it is. And just move on and find those people like that want to relate to you. Who are you walking with? I mean, we are all using Instagram kind of, to grow our market. I mean, you can literally hashtag something that you want, hashtag army fitness, army wife, whatever. And you just scroll until you find 10 people that you feel like you like their page, you like their profile picture, you like anything about them. And if their account's private, I send them a friend, I ask them to accept that I follow their page or whatever. And I just send them a direct message and just say, hey, once they accept me, I like your page. I found your profile. Like, I see you're on a health and fitness journey, or I see you're a mom. Like, this, just make a relationship with them. And then, they're already in your pipeline. And so that's someone that you can always, grow that relationship to, invite them to something, a free group, a 21-day group or whatever. But yeah, I mean, like I've said before, some people's warm market works great for them. Like Brandy's warm market's working really well for her.
Yeah.
Mine did not. And that's why I had to find new ways to get myself out there, because no one that I knew, like when I started my Facebook, it was all people from high school who I wasn't even friends with. I had like a handful of friends from high school that I wasn't, really close with anymore. And then all of them, the other people were just people I knew from high school. And I had like one good friend from college. So it wasn't like I had a lot of friends. And so when I did reach out to my warm market, they were like, what are you doing? And so I had to find, when they weren't responsive, then I had to find new ways. And that was when I started running ads. And that's when, I started using now Instagram to just continue to grow my market. And honestly, I feel like I connect with people who I've built like almost a new relationship with better, because you don't have any like preconceived anything, and you're starting with somebody that you already know you relate to. So
that's a good idea. I need to try that. I have my Instagram, and I've been posting a lot of stuff on Instagram anyways.
Yeah, and I see that. And so what I can tell you as a tip is, I see you're using hashtags, and that's awesome. But what I do is I make a list in my phone, like in my notes section, of, you can use 30 hashtags per picture. So don't put it in the caption, but use hashtags that like the market that you typically would relate to. And you can look through some of my hashtags that I use pretty much the same ones all the time. And you always want to use 30 hashtags because then it's drawing like more people to you.
Okay.
So use 30 hashtags like in each picture. And it doesn't necessarily have to relate to the picture. Like usually I'll do like the first couple ones like relatable to the picture or the video that I do. And then the rest would be just like general stuff like my market, like Whole30, paleo, organic eating, you know, fit mom, you know, fur baby mom or whatever like I want to put. And then again, if you're not adding, you know, like let's say you want to add 5 new people a day. Then if those people aren't coming to you, then you go into the search engine and you search hashtags that, you know, you want to use or that you think you would relate to, and you just start scrolling and you just start finding those people. And that's a really good way to stay accountable when you have your list. Because if you haven't added 5 new people to your list, then you need to go and find them, you know? And as long as you're doing that, think about it. Okay, so there's 31 days in March and say 28 now. That's 100, if you add 5 people a day, that's like over 100 people, like for the month. That's a huge like group of people that you can be talking to and building relationships with. So, you know, even if they don't sign up today or tomorrow, that's someone that you can continually go back to. And, I mean, as long as you continue to do that, I mean, over the course of a couple months, that's like 500 people, you know, that's a whole lot of people versus just trying to like revert back to your warm market, because it's exhausting and it's super frustrating and you get nowhere, obviously, you know, like we've both learned that the hard way. And then as long as you're still continuing sharing your journey and what you're doing, telling your story, those people, I guarantee you, are going to come back to you at some point. Again, you just have to put yourself out there and be vulnerable in what you say. Like, you know, I know like you're super consistent, like you've become a lot more consistent. Now we need to dig a little bit deeper and tell your story, like why you work out. You know, what benefits does it have? Like you are able to have a better, what's the word I'm looking for? You have more patience with Lucas, you know, like because he's a crazy boy, he's 2 and he runs around. So it allows you to be a more patient mom. It allows you to have more energy when, you know, to stay up with your husband and, you know, watch that TV show with him because, you know,
I really want to fall asleep.
Yeah, like little things like that are what's going to stick to people's emotions because people are tired. They work long days. They have no energy. They don't want to deal with their kids after, you know, working, you know, that sort of thing. So those are the pieces of your heart and your story you can just throw out there, like little things, you know? And then, of course, show your workouts, but put a little more depth into, you know, why you're doing it. You know, maybe you had like a tough afternoon and you're like, I didn't want to do it, but I know that if I did X, Y, and Z, you know, and sharing that is what's going to bring people back because they're going to not only see
that some people don't want to know, you want to share pretty much, right?
Correct. Yeah. The things that are close to your heart that you're kind of like, should I share that? That's like really personal. I don't know if people will take it. I say share it because, like for me, like my journey is going to completely change and my story is going to completely change. But, you know, being honest about my feelings and, you know, what I'm going through and stuff like that, that's really personal. And that's what's going to draw people who are like me to me. So, you know, it's going to weed people out. The people who don't want to listen to you and don't connect to you, they're going to go by. Like, who cares? That's not who you want to work with. That's not who you want to help in, you know, in a challenge setting or whatever. You want people who are like you, because that, I can't tell you like how much of a difference that makes, because, you know, you want others to succeed. in anything if you're going to try and if you're set out to help them. So you want people who are like motivated enough to meet you halfway so that you can run together and have success together. It doesn't just have to be business. It can be health and fitness. I mean, if you're doing the workouts all the time and then the people you're adding like don't even look at the stuff, that's super frustrating because it's taking time out of your schedule and it's taking time out of your day that you could be spending with Lucas or you could be doing something else. And so it just takes time. It just takes practice. It just takes throwing certain things out there to see what sticks and what doesn't and what people respond to. Because there's going to be different pieces of your story that people are going to latch on to. And you just have, until you start putting that out there, you don't know what that is, you know? So, I mean, yeah, it doesn't, for you, since you're super like apprehensive and your husband is, you know, worried about the military stuff, don't use that, you know, use something else. You have tons of other stuff. You have tons of experiences and things that you deal with like in your life. Use that because, I mean, you can find military people on Instagram secretly and that can come up in a private conversation. It doesn't have to be something that you plaster everywhere. Because
Right.
you have the ability to search for those people through hashtags. So it doesn't have to be something you share on Facebook. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Can I chime in here?
Yeah, of course.
Really quick?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to mention, just so that you understand, I'm sorry, who did you say was on here with us?
Stacy.
Okay, Stacy. I followed Kimberly for probably, I'm not going to lie, about a year before I contacted her about wanting a program. So maybe I watched a video the other day, and maybe what you're trying to sell them, what's going on, you know, right now isn't, you know, what's the word? It's not having a value to them. It's not, you know, the program that they think is going to, you know, fit their lifestyle. So when this new program came out at the beginning of the year, the hammer and chisel, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, like I think that one calls to me. That's a program I want to try. And then that's when I contacted Kimberly. So I followed her for, like I said, almost a whole year before I even decided to even contact her about anything. So I think what Kimberly is saying is really, really helpful. Just, you know, share your journey, and these people, they're going to come to you when they see a product or, you know, a promo that they think relates to them. I think that that's really, really, you know, good advice. And like she said, keep contact with them because it's all about planting the seed and then watering it. I've been in sales, you know, a really long time. I worked at Palm Beach Tan for a long time. And, you know, these people, and never discount somebody. Somebody may walk in, I go, man, they're never going to be able to afford a $100 bottle of lotion, you know. But, you know, actually they're the ones that spend it the most as long as you are adamant and persistent on how it's going to help them. I'm like, hey, you know, I just want to make sure if you're doing this, that you're doing it, you know, the healthy way, you know, or whatever the case may be. If tanning can be healthy, you know, I'm just saying. But, you know, it's all about planting that seed and watering it. And I think she's right. The more you share that I always thought, man, I'm never going to be able to be like Kimberly. Look at her body. It's freaking awesome. You know, like I can't live up to that, you know. But then once, you know, she just kept sharing and I was like, man, okay, I really like this. You know, and then when the program that was right for me came, I contacted her, you know, so you don't, you know, just friend these people, you know, like she's saying, and, you know, kind of reach out to them every once in a while. And even if they don't reach out to you at some point, I bet they do, because you know that your products work. I'm planning on trying all of them. I definitely want to try the hardcore, you know, and all that good stuff. But I think that, you know, that she's giving you, don't get frustrated. I mean, no's are okay, you know, but one day they'll say yes. And I like everything that Kimberly was just saying. I just think, you know, when they see one that's valuable to them, they're going to reach out to you, and they're going to do it as long as they keep following your story. Does that make sense? Is that good?
Yeah. And
so just look at it, you know,
I know these people and I've known them for forever, and I know it's just I don't know. It just gets really frustrating because we talked to them before I even started with the Beachbody programs and stuff. But I don't only talk about the programs. I talk about losing weight. I never mentioned the programs until they really
Right.
wanted to. And then I was
Right.
like, hey, I feel like this one would work for you, but we have other programs, and then we would talk about other ones, and then we'd find one that actually goes with what they want to do,
Mhm.
even though that I felt like maybe that was just maybe too intense for them, they still did it anyways. But I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all about persistence, and I need to.
And if I could add one thing, so I used to like my philosophy was when I first started, I didn't want to be like other Beachbody coaches. I never wanted to like use stock photos like of a program or like, you know, anything that was like Beachbody. And you know, just say like, I'm doing this, check out this new program, like we should do it together, because that's not gonna help anyone. Like they don't care like about the program necessarily, they care about your journey. So, you know, there's a wake up call a while back from Danielle Natoni, who is in Insanity, blah, blah, blah. She talked about the power of the program. And if you document your story, you pick a program and you do it like full out, start to finish, and you document your journey along the way, it's super, super powerful. And you don't have to like always say that it's like this program, especially like as a new coach. I think people get annoyed with that. I think once you build up some credibility, people will listen to you a little bit more. But the power of the program is super powerful, because you can drop certain hints of the program that you're wanting to do or that you are doing. And then like Brandy said, the more people are watching, when that program comes around and it hits them, they're gonna figure out that it's right for them. So you don't want people to be scrolling through your newsfeed or scrolling through your Instagram too far to the point where they don't know what you do. They don't know that you're a coach, or they don't know that you do fitness programs at home or something like that. Like you want to have them know pretty quickly that's what you're here for. Of course, I would never recommend on your Instagram or Facebook or whatever to say Beachbody Coach, because you know, when people are when you're using those hashtags and you're reaching out to people and they want to follow you back, if your profile says that you are a Beachbody coach with your Beachbody link to it, they will not follow you and you'll never build that relationship. So you can say that you're a health and fitness coach, or you're an online like fitness consultant, or whatever like you want to say, but I would never say like, I'm a Beachbody coach. I'm a teacher. I'm a Beachbody coach. I'm a mom of two, because people will not follow you, and then you're going to get frustrated again. So use different wordings to allow people to trust you, follow your page, and then as they follow you and they kind of already trust you, you can start incorporating like specific things that you do as a mom and as a stay-at-home girl boss in like your life, and you work out from home and stuff like that. You can be specific about that, just not all the time, because people will be bored with it and they don't care. You know, that's where you got to dig deep into your journey and explain the why, and explain the specifics as to like why you do things, because that's what's gonna help you grow. So, I mean, and as you like get on Instagram more, you're going to see like people be super vulnerable and real with their journeys. And those are the people that have big followings. So I suggest, maybe doing that as well. But
Sorry, he got my other phone.
oh, it's okay. But I don't know. Do you guys have anything else? I don't want to be here all day.
I think that was it.
Okay. Brandy, you're good?
Oh yeah, I'm good. Thank you. I think this was awesome.
Okay. Well, cool. Well, maybe we'll do team calls like during the day. I've been trying to meet in the like switch that, and it's just I had to change it on the calendar. So, in 2 weeks when we have another team call, maybe we do it, at 11:30 or something like that, because it seems like more people will be able to get on versus like towards the time that kids get put to bed and stuff. It's just hard. So
yes, I got a school kid, so she gets ready to go to bed at like 8:30.
mm-hmm.
So I never am able. I can always catch it at the tail end if I get him to bed quicker, depending on what he wants to do during.
Okay. Well, yeah. All right. Well, you guys enjoy your weekend, and if you need anything, just you know where to find me. So.
Alrighty.
All right. Bye.
Thank you, Kimberly. Bye.
All right. See ya.
Bye.